When we think of targeting the shoulders, we typically think of exercises like dumbbell raises, overhead presses, and high rows. But unfortunately, if you don't have weights, these exercises become impossible to do at home. But luckily, there are many amazing exercises that you can perform at home, and just by using your body weight, you can definitely develop nice, defined, cap-like shoulders with full frontal, middle, and back shoulder heads. And for the first exercise, we're going to target the front and middle heads with something known as dolphin push-ups. To begin, get down on all fours and plant your elbows into the ground like you're about to perform a plank. From there, you'll get into what looks like a plank, except your hips should be higher up in the air in a downward dog position. Next, you're going to lower your hips as you shift your body weight forward. Your shoulders should go past your elbows and try to get low enough to have your chest touch your hands. Then you're going to reverse the movement, and specifically, you want to concentrate on moving your body weight back up with your shoulders. So don't just press up with your chest. Focus on flexing your shoulders almost like you're trying to raise your elbows up. While you're doing this, you don't want to just pull your hips back. Let your arms do the work. As you push back, your hips should come right back up into that downward dog position, and then from there you'll simply repeat for reps. To make this more challenging, all you got to do is walk your feet in, and to make it less challenging, walk them further back. Another exercise similar to the dolphin push-up is the pike push-up. Now, many people perform these on the ground, and if you don't have another option, doing them on the ground is still totally fine. But you'll probably find that your head gets in the way of getting a full range of motion for your shoulders. If you want more of a challenge, then you can elevate your hands onto platforms. So you can use furniture, chairs, or a stack of books. Then you would place your feet on one platform and place each of your hands on the other two, so that you're once again in an elevated downward dog position. From there, you want to bend your elbows and lower yourself down slowly until you feel a nice stretch in your chest and shoulders. Then press yourself back up until you're back to the original starting position and repeat for reps. Next, we have an exercise that will work your lateral head as well as your core, side plank crunches. Now, you can do these on your elbow or with your arm fully extended. To target the shoulder better, I recommend doing it on your hand with your arm fully extended. So you'll plant your hand on the ground under your shoulder and stack your feet so that you're in a side plank position. Then you're going to raise your hips up off the floor and aim to get them up higher than a typical side plank. As you're doing this, concentrate on pushing your body away from your hand. Then lower your hips almost to the ground. From there, flex your shoulder and push your hips back up and repeat for reps. Another simple but effective shoulder exercise that not only hits the rear delts but also targets the lats as well as the rhomboids is the towel lat pull down. To do this one, you'll need a towel or a broomstick, and I'll be demonstrating with a towel today. Lay flat down on the ground, grab one end of the towel in each hand and raise it above your head. From there, you're going to lift your upper body up off the ground. You can also lift your lower body off the ground too, also hit your glutes and lower back. But either way, you're going to really try to pull the towel apart as you pull your elbows down in what looks like a floor lat pull down. When you get your elbows all the way back, you want to really squeeze for a second before raising back above the head and then repeating for reps. Another one for the back of the shoulders is a variation of the reverse fly. Instead of bending over and facing the ground, you're actually going to lay on your back and be facing up. Spread your arms out with a slight bend in your elbows, just like you would with a reverse fly. Then you're going to press your arms and elbows back into the ground and raise your upper body up. Hold yourself up and squeeze for a second before slowly returning back down and repeating for reps. Keep in mind, even though this one does have a very short range of motion, as long as you squeeze and concentrate on using the correct muscles, you'll definitely challenge your rear portion of your shoulders. Now, moving back to an exercise that targets the front and middle head very effectively, we have dive bombers. To begin, you'll get down on the ground on all fours and raise your hips up into a downward dog position just like before. Then you're going to lower yourself to the ground for what looks like a regular pike push-up, but as you near the bottom of the movement and your chest comes closer and closer to the ground, you want to drop your hips to the ground and press your upper body up so you wind up in what looks like a cobra stretch position. Then reverse the entire movement by bending your elbows and lowering your upper body to the ground as you raise your hips back up into that same downward dog position, and then press yourself up until your elbows are fully straight. From there, just repeat for reps. Next, I want to move on to a lateral raise where we use whatever you have at home. You can use a book bag, duffel bag, or simply loop a belt through some gallons of water. All of these can be used to load up some weight if you're at home and you don't have access to dumbbells or to barbells. So we're going to use one of these objects to perform lateral raises, and we want to do leaning lateral raises since all of these household objects tend to be bulky. It's good to grab something like a door frame and lean away from it to provide space for the bag or gallons of water to hang down. Then you're going to stay in that position and raise the bag to your side with your elbow slightly bent. And just like with regular lateral raises, lower back down and repeat for reps. Another exercise that you can perform with basic household items is the regular bent over reverse fly. The back of your shoulder is a relatively small muscle, so it doesn't require much weight to effectively target this portion of your shoulder. All you really need are 2 gallons of water. If you need more weight, you can simply use the 2.5 gallon jugs that are available in most stores. You can also use matching laundry detergents or any other similar household items. I'll be demonstrating with water jugs. So you're going to grab a gallon in each hand and bend over while maintaining the neutral curve in your spine. Then from there, you'll perform a reverse fly by opening your arms in an arc-like path, aiming to bring your hands up and out to your sides. While doing this, remember to keep the elbows slightly bent the whole time. Then slowly return the gallons back to the starting position, still keeping the elbows slightly bent, and then repeat for reps. Moving on, let's go back to another bodyweight exercise. And this one is a variation of a regular push-up that's going to target the shoulders and specifically the front head in a much more intense way than regular push-ups. So to begin, you'll get down on all fours and pretty much come up into a push-up position. Except with these push-ups, you want your hands to be a good amount behind your shoulders. Remember, with a regular push-up, your hands would be directly underneath your shoulder. So it's going to feel like you're leaning forward, and that's going to put much more tension on your shoulders. So from that position, you simply lower yourself for a push-up and press yourself back up. Keep in mind, as you perform this push-up, your elbows should stay closer to the body than regular push-ups. So make sure you're not flaring your elbows out as you do this. Finally, last but not least, we have suspension training exercises. Now, ideally, you would want a TRX for these exercises, but you can also use other household items like towels or drapes, which you would use by tying a knot at one end, putting that knot on the other side of a door, and closing the door. But I have a number of TRXs at my gyms, and the ones that I get right off of Amazon are really cheap and worth it if you're exercising at home without weights. There are a bunch of effective shoulder exercises that you can do with TRX straps. For example, you could do regular reverse flies by grabbing a strap in each hand, leaning back, and spreading your arms out to your sides in the same arc-like path from before, then slowly returning back down and repeating for reps. Keep in mind, with all your TRX exercises, it's important to keep your body in a relatively straight line from your heels to your hips to your shoulder blades. And the further you walk your feet forward, the more challenging the exercise will become. The further you walk them backward, the less challenging the exercise becomes. With reverse flies, since the posterior deltoid is a relatively weak muscle like we already talked about earlier, it's harder to walk in further. You only need to take a few small steps. But another exercise that you can do for the back of the shoulders is the TRX Hiro. Here you would be able to walk in a little further with your arms fully extended while leaning your upper body back. Then once you're in position, you would row your elbows back, but rather than keeping your elbows close to your ribs during the row, instead you'll flare your elbows up so that they're about 90 degrees away from your body. So just like that, you're going to row back until your hands are almost even with your chest, then slowly lower back down and repeat for reps. Another variation for the front and middle parts of your shoulders is the TRX overhead raise. Again, you would start in a similar position with your body in a straight line leaning back, but instead of rowing or performing a reverse fly, you're going to raise both hands straight up over the head while maintaining a slight bend in each elbow. Then slowly lower back down and repeat for reps. So those are just a couple of the exercises that you can do with the TRX for your shoulders. There are plenty of other exercises as well, but in general, you should now have a good idea of all the different exercises you can do at home with either no equipment at all or some basic household items. If you want to set this up as a workout, you can simply take a few of these shoulder exercises, like 6 of them, mixing up between the front, middle, and back shoulder heads, and then you would simply do 3 to 4 sets of 10 reps for each. Some exercises you can go for more reps with, like the forward-leaning push-ups, for example. If you can do 15 or 20 reps, make sure you do push yourself. There's no reason to stop yourself short. And over time, you can make this workout harder by simply trying to squeeze out a couple extra reps every couple times you do the workout. That about wraps it up. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And always remember that the workout and exercises that you perform are only one piece of the puzzle. If you want to look your best from a body composition perspective, you will have to maintain a lower body fat percentage and a decent amount of muscle mass. In order to do that, you need to make sure that you have a proper diet plan. So if you need any extra help with that, I have a team of 5-star coaches that are ready to help you create a plan, and I also have programs that provide everything from recipe books to customized diet plans and constant support from an accountability coach. To find out more, click the link below in the description, or you can just visit my website directly at gravitytransformation.com. I'll see you guys soon.